Hello, Debbie from Fibro Natters here. I've come on to talk to you about walking. And yes, I can hear you all going, are you taking the piss? I'm not. If someone had come to me 17 months ago when fibro first knocked me off my feet, I would have probably punched them in the face. If they'd come to me and said, come on, you need to go and start walking, I would have punched them in the face. I was very angry back then, frustrated, irritated. You've only got to ask my husband, Carl. He took a lot of heat back then. So yes, 17 months ago, no, I wouldn't have been walking. I couldn't walk. If you're at a stage where I was back then, which was I was literally knocked off my feet. I had to stop working overnight. I couldn't do anything. I was on my knees. I was walking like a 90-year-old woman. Honestly, it's amazing how easily you can forget how bad it was 17 months ago. But it was really bad. It was really scary, because it is scary. And you sit in the house and think, oh, this is my life now. It's not going to get any better. I need to accept what's happened to me. I need to accept I have fibromyalgia and I can't do anything anymore. That's where I was for months and months and months. Gradually, I'd say after about 8 months, 9 months, I realised that I wasn't sleeping as much. I wasn't having to go back to bed as much. I had a little bit more energy. Not a lot, but a little bit more energy. So for me, that was a chance for me to start saying, right, okay, what else can I do to help give myself more energy? So you go down the supplements and the vitamin path. You do all that. And then once you're taking all those things like vitamin D, iron tablets in my case, vitamin C to help my body absorb the iron that I'm taking, magnesium that's meant to be an energy booster as well. So I take all those. I drink loads of water, over 3 litres of water a day, on top of my teas and things. I don't drink tea anymore. For some reason my taste buds have really changed. So I've gone off normal tea, and I used to be a proper tea monster, honestly. But I just can't abide it. I just can't abide the taste anymore. So now I drink hot water with fresh mint leaves, or I drink hot water with a couple of slices of lemon, fresh lemon, and I love them. I really, really enjoy it. So yes, you start doing all these little things to help you feel a tiny little bit better. And then slowly but surely you think, oh, I've got a little bit more energy. And for me, I changed my whole routine. So I got into the habit of sleeping until 10, 10:30 in the morning, which is the last thing you need to be doing, honestly. Even in the early stages. No, I'm going to take that back. In the early stages, no, you need to sleep as much as possible, do it. But I'd say after about 7, 8 months, I started realising that I was just laying in bed for longer because I was depressed. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to face the world. What was the point? There wasn't a lot happening in my day anymore. I just sat in the house on my own talking to myself. So yeah, I was low. I was very low then. So I decided to bring in a proper routine. So that's what I did next. I set my alarm for 8 o'clock in the morning. I started sleeping at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and sleep for about 2 hours. I still do that. I'm in bed by 10 o'clock at night. Within, I'd say 2 weeks, my body had adjusted to that. So I wake up before my alarm most mornings now. I start feeling tired and look at the clock and think, oh, it's nearly 2 o'clock. I need to go and have my nap. So I'll go and have my nap. And then in the evening, I'll start feeling tired, look at the clock. Oh, it's nearly 10 o'clock. So I go to bed and I sleep. So all those little things have helped my body heal and have a little bit more energy. And slowly but surely you realise that, oh, okay, I could go for a walk now. Let's go for a walk. So yeah, I started walking. I went mad in the beginning. I just thought, let's just do it. Go for a walk, it'll make you feel better. I crashed for 3 or 4 weeks. I'd walk for a mile or so, or 2 miles at one stage. I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And honest to God, I don't know how I made it home, because my whole body, my legs were shaking, and I thought, oh my God, I've really, really messed myself up now. And I crashed for about 4 or 5 weeks again. Slowly but surely, I realised that I need to start tiny. My normal then wasn't how my normal used to be. So it wouldn't be normal for me to go out and walk half a mile and then come back, because with fibromyalgia in the early stages, it is way too far. So I'd literally go out and I'd walk for 5 minutes, and then I'd walk back for 5 minutes. And I'd do that for weeks. And then slowly but surely, I built that up to 10 minutes with a sit down, and then 10 minutes back, 10 minutes with a sit down, 10 minutes back. And you do that for so long until you feel you can do a little bit more. So I slowly built up, and I ended up walking, I moved for about 30 minutes. So I walked for 30 minutes, but within those 30 minutes, I rested for 5 minutes, about 3 or 4 times. But gradually that gets easier and your body gets used to it. And I'd say that you start enjoying it again. Instead of thinking, oh, you know, when should I stop walking? When should I turn around and go home? That disappears, all that stress disappears, and you just go for a walk and you really enjoy that walk, and you sit when you need to. My problem is the direction I want to walk, there isn't enough places to sit down. But a week or so ago, I did manage to get to the river, and I haven't got to the river in such a long time. Like, I haven't got to the river in the 17 months. And I finally got there, and I found there's a really old fallen tree right by the river that used to be covered in brambles and nettles, and you couldn't get near it. But I got over there, and there were just a few nettles, so I chopped those down, and I was able to sit on this old fallen tree. And it was, honestly, it was absolutely wonderful for me, because I used to walk those meadows. I used to walk for miles, and I loved it. And just to be able to sit there and be in the expanse of those meadows and look across and not stress while you're looking, because there's nowhere to sit. You're literally sitting down, you're resting, and you can admire the view and be proud of how far you've walked. But the reason I got that far, I think something clicked in my brain, and I thought, if you want to get there, Debbie, there's nowhere for you to sit. Once you leave that fallen tree that you've been sitting on in the wooded area, there's nowhere else to sit. So that put me off for months going any further. But slowly but surely I realised, well, hang on, I think it was the tree stump. Someone had kindly put a tree stump just outside of the wooded area in my village for me to sit and rest before I went a little bit further. And then that disappeared. It didn't disappear, someone just trashed it. Someone went over and cut all the undergrowth back and threw all the logs in a pile, and I can't lift those logs. So I'm unable to sit there anymore. So I freaked out when I first realised it wasn't there, because that's where I rested. Like, I'd walked a long way and I had nowhere to rest, and I thought, right, okay, just stop freaking out, Debbie. Just stand and rest. And I just stood and rested for about 3 or 4 minutes. And I thought, right, okay, you know where the fallen tree is in the wooded area, go and sit there. So I went and sat there, and I just couldn't rest. I was just stressing because my tree stump had disappeared. I think it was that around that time I realised, Debbie, you don't need to sit to rest, you can stand and rest. So that's what I've been doing. I've just been standing and resting. It's not as brilliant, it's nowhere near as good as sitting down and resting, but it's doable, or it is for me now. So yeah, I just stood and rested, walked, stood and rested and walked, and I got over to the meadow, and I'm so chuffed with myself, honestly. I'm really, really proud of myself. And if you had told me 17 months ago that I'd be out walking on my own for up to 30 minutes I literally walk for 30 minutes. And yes, I have to stop and sit down and rest, or I have to stop and stand and rest on numerous occasions during that 30 minutes. But that's still 30 minutes of walking. So I'm here to tell you that it does get better. If you have just hit rock bottom and fibromyalgia has screwed you big time, and you can't work anymore, and you're just sitting in the house and thinking, my God, this is my life. This is my life from now on. I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be. I'm telling you, if you have the oomph, yes, rest for 6 months if you need to, rest for 8 months if you need to, but realise when you start, it becomes not resting, it turns into giving up. And when you get to that stage, you've got to kick yourself up the backside and go, hang on a minute, come on. We need to set a routine here. Otherwise, you're going down and it's hard to get back up again. So, yeah, I am saying walking is really bloody good for you. And having hope heals you, I'm telling you. So, yes, rest. And when you can, start walking. Get yourself into a routine. And you will be happy again. You will be living your life again. So, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Sending you love and healing. Please subscribe to the channel. Bye.